Good evening. After a two-day manhunt, 2 sleepless nights, law enforcement have apprehended Vance Bolter. That's 48 hours that law enforcement involved in a complex and dangerous manhunt.
Tim Walz has taken Minnesota so far to the left it's practically floating above Japan. Konnichiwa, Minneapolis. I hope you like teriyaki. I've been blasting Fox News from my Trump Cybertruck for 13 days straight, and I'm ready to Fox-plain Tim Walz.
Imagine tuning in to watch a governor hold it together only to see him crumble faster than a cookie in hot tea. Tim Walz thought he was ready for the spotlight, then Desi Lydic showed up with enough sass to make a grown man question all his life choices. Tears, awkward laughs, and the kind of embarrassment you can't unsee. This is political theater at its funniest. Stick around, because it only gets juicier from here.
We named her Hope. We named her Hope. I'm not crying, you're crying. This guy has made it clear how he stands. He's sitting down at Mar-a-Lago after he got elected president, and this was his exact quote. He's talking to a bunch of folks at Mar-a-Lago. You're rich as hell, and we're gonna give you a tax cut. At the same time, he was telling workers they get paid too much already. That's who this guy is. You tell me who in Wisconsin is sitting around saying, damn, I wish they'd give billionaires tax cuts and screw me over.
Before we move on, smash that like button and subscribe, because you know you don't want to miss out on this one. Tim Walz thought he was strolling into another day of political pageantry. You know the routine, some polite clapping, a few staged smiles, maybe a handshake so forced it looks like he's trying to crack walnuts, but instead he walked straight into a comedic demolition derby, and Desi Lydic was behind the wheel.
This man is a Friday night liar. He said that he was a football coach, but he was actually the assistant football coach. Do you really want a VP who serves under a...
What started as a seemingly innocent moment of satire quickly spiraled into a full-blown roast session, so brutal that Walz might have later Googled, "Can you resign from public embarrassment?" Picture it. Walz standing there with the confidence of a man convinced he's untouchable. That smug politician energy where you think your talking points are bulletproof.
But politicians need to stay out of students' bathrooms, unless they're checking middle school volleyball players for fake penises. He gave out free tampons. You're telling me he's not a communist? That is the definition of a red.
Then Desi stepped in, delivering sarcastic zingers that didn't just cut. They peeled back every layer of pretense until all that was left was a man blinking into the void, wondering why the universe was so cruel. She didn't just embarrass him, she absolutely torched him, and he reacted like someone whose ego had just been repossessed in real time.
January 6th. It's time for January 6th grade. Giving tampons out in public schools? What's next? Free healthcare for everyone?
Exactly, that line perfectly captures the moment. Desi isn't just criticizing Walz, she's systematically dismantling his carefully constructed persona, leaving him flustered and exposed for everyone to see. It's the kind of political smackdown that's equal parts brutal and mesmerizing, like watching a slow-motion domino effect, where every tile is a sarcastic jab landing squarely.
But this is not how a man moves. This is how a man moves. In conclusion, he is Twitchy Tim, Tiananmen Tim, Provocative Tim, Tantric Tim, Tarragon Tim. Back off, Tim. I won't let you destroy the Minnesota that I know.
The beauty of it? Walz wasn't just losing a debate. He was losing control of the narrative entirely. Everyone watching could see it unfold in real time. The combination of Desi's sharp delivery and the audience's reaction made it less of an argument and more of a full-blown slow-motion train wreck.
Tragic what has happened to Milwaukee, Minnesota. And that's exactly what Tim Walz will do to Atlanta, Michigan, to Phoenix, South Dakota, and to the great capital of our nation, Seattle.
It's almost poetic, comedy as truth teller. Every joke was a scalpel, carving away the facade. Walz's meltdown wasn't just entertainment. It was a case study in what happens when a politician's confidence depends entirely on a bubble of controlled appearances. The laughter didn't just entertain, it documented the collapse of an image meticulously curated to look solid.
Could possibly think it would be a good idea to lie about being in Tiananmen Square when you were in Nebraska. I mean, come on, it's just so beyond the pale. And now he's thinking about running for president. Didn't he get the memo that the American people do not want a second coming of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? And Kamala is in California considering a run for governor. We do not want any more DEI woke, any of that. We just don't. We're done with the woke and trans insanity.
It was like watching someone trying to pilot a plane while the autopilot has been switched off. Desi was calm, collected, and in total control, while Walz was spiraling under the simplest pressure. Every laugh was a spotlight on his fragility. Every cheer was a mirror reflecting how unprepared he truly was. The comedy didn't just land, it detonated his carefully constructed persona.
Tim Walz. Okay, Jen Psaki, she's a talking head, whatever. But Tim Walz was recently the vice presidential candidate on the Democratic ticket. Maybe you'd expect a little better, a little higher in terms of the rhetoric. You would be disappointed.
Just saying. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
Look at him. So chipper. Don't worry, there will be news. In other words, Trump will die. Something to look forward to. The absolute nerve, especially with a president who was subjected to at least...
By the end of the night, it wasn't just Walz's pride in pieces. His whole facade had crumbled. He had walked in as a politician and walked out a punchline, as Desi had turned him into a warning for every politician who thinks they can survive comedy unscathed, because you can out-argue, outspin, or even outlie someone. But you can't out-joke Lydic. And the second wave of humiliation hit even harder. That look people get when they realize their life choices led to disaster was plastered on Tim Walz as he tried to appear like a leader, but radiated the energy of someone who just lost a staring contest with a houseplant. And the crowd sensed it. Nothing fuels comedy more than an audience smelling weakness, and Walz was serving it on a silver platter, his attempt at a composed grin twisting into a grimace. Every awkward chuckle he made was like adding fuel to the bonfire Desi was already roasting over, and the more he tried to stay unfazed, the funnier it became, until at one point the room wasn't laughing with Desi. They were laughing at the sheer spectacle of Walz's emotional meltdown.
Bidenomics. Not only Biden, but Kamala Harris was heralding Bidenomics, pretending that there wasn't a problem at the border. And then fundamentally, this idea that President Biden was up for another 4 years of the job, while Americans in poll after poll for year after year were saying he's too old to do the job. Your party stood against all of those things.
Look, Joe Biden coming in and doing COVID and being a governor through COVID did a hell of a job. But I think one of the things that we didn't do is we assumed that we said, and it was true, that we were going to have a soft landing and our economy was better.
Meanwhile, Desi was thriving, her eyes shining with the confidence of someone completely in control of the room. Because while politicians usually rely on rehearsed authority, Desi's came from pure comedic dominance, and Walz could barely form a coherent thought as she effortlessly shredded his ego into bite-sized pieces for everyone to enjoy. And with every sarcastic jab, it became crystal clear he wasn't powerful at all, just playing dress-up in a borrowed suit of authority that Desi stripped away. And then the emotional collapse hit, his voice cracking not like a serious speech about the nation's future, but like a teenager's voice ordering fast food, and though he tried to pivot and regain control, it was too late. The audience had seen his vulnerability, smelled his panic, and Desi slammed that door wide open with another round of brutal wit, not just embarrassing him, but pinpointing the exact moment his confidence evaporated, delivering the ultimate kill shot.
Yeah. A teacher snatches the bully's ass up. Yeah. Come sit with me. That's why I know someone's bullying. Oh, you can sit with me for a while. And then I would lean on him. I'd bully him back. He's not a teacher. He's not a politician. He's a creepy guy who can't remember his speeches. I don't know what the hell was in the water in that White House, or was everyone on the same bad cocaine? But Kamala can't speak. He can't speak. Biden was so high he couldn't remember anything. Like, this is literally the dumbest administration of all time. Why is he talking?
It really is the ultimate clown show. And I said this in the 5. He's a clown without a...
Walz probably walked in rehearsing bullet points, practicing his firm tone in the mirror, maybe even giving himself a pep talk about controlling the stage. But what he didn't rehearse was getting roasted to dust by a comedian who could dismantle him with a single raised eyebrow. Because you can't prepare for that, and while Walt thought he was the main character, the serious figure in the room, Desi turned him into the comedy sidekick, who didn't realize everyone was laughing at his expense, making him the setup and her the punchline, and the whole room knew it. And then there were the tears, not dramatic streams down his face, but the kind that make your eyes glassy and your voice wobble, the kind you try to blink away, but only make it clearer that you're cracking. And though Walsh tried to frame it as emotion, nobody bought it because the crowd wasn't thinking he was moved. They were thinking he was falling apart, while Desi handed him his own dignity on a platter.
He believes a lot of wild things. One of them is transgender surgery for people who are under 13.
So for those out there who are wondering, aren't there something else you could be doing or doesn't seem to impact you in your life? This is what it means to show empathy. This is what it means to be welcoming.
He changed the Minnesota state flag to make it look like a Somali flag. You haven't seen that?
But our current flag is problematic. I think we all know that. We've evolved into a more diverse state, and I think it's more reflective.
Meanwhile, Desi wasn't cruel. She was just brutally honest in the funniest way possible, which made it even worse for Walz, because she wasn't yelling or attacking, just calmly pointing out the absurdity of his political facade. And the truth wrapped in comedy was unbearable for him, because deep down he knew it. And by the time Desi was done, Walz no longer stood like a politician. The posture and composure gone, hunched and visibly smaller, as if the spotlight had shrunk him to actual size, the image of leadership replaced by a man desperately clinging to his last shred of dignity. And if body language could speak, his would have screamed, "Get me out of here," while the crowd ate it up, not just entertained, but energized. As Desi did, what few can, expose the hollowness of political performance with humor so sharp it left scars.
China. He mini-mooned in Pyongyang. He went to a destination wedding on the lesbian island from Wonder Woman. Forget the Bible, this guy's gonna be sworn in on a menu from Panda Express. Put down the chopsticks, Tim. In America, we eat noodles with a fork in one hand
And once the crowd sided with her, Walz didn't stand a chance. Every laugh at his expense, another nail in the coffin of his performance, every cheer for Desi a reminder that in this battle the politician was powerless and the comedian was the conqueror. And the fallout was immediate because people weren't talking about Walz's message afterward, only his meltdown, and though he tried to brush it off as if nothing happened, public embarrassment sticks, follows you, pops up at the worst times, and defines you in ways you can't shake. So from now on, whenever Walz tries to stand tall and serious, people will remember the night Desi Lydic casually dismantled him with jokes, and he'll never outrun it, because comedy sticks to politicians like gum on a shoe, and by the final stretch, Walz wasn't even pretending anymore. The man who once strutted with the energy of a would-be statesman, now looking like someone who wandered into the wrong event and was desperately searching for the exit.
Out of bounds. Your mom, and how soon was it? After the election? Like,
a
when
week
was
or two.
it?
When it wasn't at that point, I was just asking questions. Like, it wasn't even. I was like, what happened to the $2.5 billion we raised? Why did we spend it on Beyonce? Why did we spend 2.5? Why did we spend millions of dollars on Oprah? Like legitimate questions that needed to be answered. But the amount of hate I got for that was just overwhelming. And the final straw, the moment that I knew that I needed to leave, was actually around Christmas Eve.
Every attempt to regain control only dug Walz deeper, as he tried smiling through humiliation, but the grin twitched like a man losing a staring contest with his own reflection, while Desi remained untouchable, not raising her voice or leaning into cruelty, simply pointing out the absurdity of his act with a smirk and letting the audience do the rest, turning what was meant to be a show of leadership into a comedy masterclass on how not to handle being roasted, reducing his carefully built image to rubble without even breaking a sweat. And the symbolism was perfect, a politician undone not by scandal, opposition research, or policy failure, but by comedy. And when it was over, Desi walked away with the crowd in her pocket, while Walz looked like a man whose ego had just been repossessed, utterly obliterated, as Desi Lydic cemented herself as the undefeated champion of making fragile politicians crumble under the weight of their own ridiculousness.